Sean, as you know, trends in digital and streaming platforms, as well as viewer habits, have led to pressures on local news. In addition, Adam Simpson, your CEO, has announced recently an expanded role in American journalism for Scripps, in part by reinventing and reinvesting in local news. Can you share with us how this has impacted your role and how you are implementing this vision?
This is an important time for news organizations across the country. You have a lot of things happening at one time. As you mentioned, trends are shifting. There's not as much linear news viewing. There's more online news viewing. But you also have challenges financially. We don't monetize in digital space as well as we do on linear. You also have generational changes. Younger people don't watch or consume news in the same way their parents did. So all this has sort of come to a point where we really have to redefine how we operate and who we are in local communities. So the news initiative is an overarching, large concept that tackles a lot of different elements. First and foremost, it's a commitment to quality journalism. We recognize the role we play in society in terms of keeping people informed, aware of what's going on. There's technological pieces. Technology is far different now than it was even 5-10 years ago. And really it has allowed us to look holistically at what we do and ask ourselves a fundamental question about what is the work that we do that only people can do, which tends to be a lot of the journalism, and what's work that can be done through technology that can allow us to free up resources to move into the journalism roles. And then beyond that, we've looked at fundamentally, how do people feel about our local news brands within local communities? And there's been a big shift here. What we're hearing from people, particularly younger people, is a high level of interest in local news products that embody the local community and work hard and advocate for solutions to challenges within that community. For a long time, local news has lived of just highlighting things that are going wrong, challenges, and now people are telling us, you know what, we expect more. We expect you to use your voice in a way that is additive to our community and solves problems within our community.
Sean, what levers do you expect to pull as you execute this strategy?
We've launched, in some of our smallest markets, the most aggressive manifestation of the news initiative. We've completely changed the workflow. We've completely changed the way we use people. I'll use Tallahassee, Florida as an example. That is a market where when we went into there, we had 3 people on a regular daily basis who went out and covered news. 3 people out of a staff of more than 35 people. As we recalibrated and rebuilt that, we now have a staff that's smaller. We have 28 people. But we have 13 people who are out in the field covering the community every day. So going back to the part I talked about where people are wanting a more community-focused product, you really can't do that with 3 people. Because we cover a large area, even Tallahassee, our coverage area is fairly large. But by having a larger body of reporters, we can cover more of the community, we can cover more topics and more relevant issues within the community and work toward those solutions that people are telling us they want. What we're doing now is launch and check. Understanding, we show examples of the product to people and get feedback. Hey, I love this. This maybe isn't working. I don't like this. A lot of the levers are around the kind of content we do, where it comes from, the topics we cover, how we cover it, where the content goes. If you have 13 people out covering stories every day, that's just a lot more content that can go a lot more places. Do we need to push more out on social media? Does our workflow on our digital products need to change? Those are all levers that we look at as we analyze results and look at attitudinal feedback from audience that we can make tweaks and adjustments.
How will this approach impact the experience of the viewer?
I think it's pretty dramatic in terms of a couple of things. Number one, more local content. More local content from more local places. Number 2, more expertise. People are very clear. They don't want somebody who just dropped into a community and they've been there a month and then they're portrayed as an expert in local news. They really want this sort of hyper-local expertise and deep understanding of the community. 3, a commitment to in-depth reporting and investigative reporting. With more resources, we have more time. We can devote significant resources. If there's a big story that needs a lot of coverage, we have the flexibility to do that. When you have 3 reporters, you literally are just trying to stay afloat every day. So I think that from more people doing content, a better balanced product in terms of the kinds of content. One of the pieces of feedback we always hear, it's so negative. That's one piece. There's a lot of other things. What are the stories of hope? What are the stories of inspiration? What are the stories of success? I think people are very clear when they talk about local news product. They want to see all of those things. You can't do it with 3 reporters. You absolutely can do it every day with 13.
How do you expect these changes to impact the work of the journalists that work at Scripps?
Being a journalist at Scripps, we're committed to understanding our communities better, solving important issues, and a commitment to quality. That involves a lot of things. Hiring the right kind of people, higher levels of experience, commitments to local communities. Hiring people who are maybe from the local community is a huge focus now. That wasn't a focus before. It's easy to talk about news being committed to quality. There aren't many people who have the wherewithal to do it because there's so many things when you stick with the old model of doing it that prevent you from getting there. And I think what we're seeing already, and you're going to continue to see, is journalists at Scripps are really positioned well to do the important work that ultimately is going to create a healthier democracy. I really believe that. It sounds cliche. What we do is really important. And when you look at the broader local news ecosystem, the decline of local newspapers is one of the worst things to happen in local communities ever. People don't know what's going on. It really lands on us now. If we don't step up to the plate and improve the quality of what we're doing, who's going to? And what happens then? I think that's a motivation for a lot of people right now as we think about this project.